Do you know how to be a super ager? We're bombarded by different research that focuses on all the things that can go wrong as we age. In fact, I saw one on the news tonight. So, how many times have you seen or heard stories about things like dementia and other illnesses and problems of old age? I'm guessing it's probably a lot. Hi, I'm Marianne from One Life to Flourish, and welcome to tonight's episode of Monday Motivation. And tonight's episode marks the beginning of a new series called Super Aging. Now, each week I aim to give you one or two fairly easy habits or changes you can bring into your life that will help you now to get started on aging well into the future. So if you know someone who might find this topic really interesting, please invite them over to watch. Otherwise, please say hi so I know that you're watching. Hopefully you are on One Life to Flourish so that I know. Otherwise, if you watch the replay, do hashtag replay as well. Now, I don't know about anyone else, but the events of last year, and particularly what was happening in nursing homes here in Australia, really made me feel, quite anxious almost about what my old age might look like. Now, the thought crossed my mind that I just didn't want to grow old in Australia. Then I had to kind of step back and just remind myself that I was already working on setting myself up to age well. Not that I had it perfectly right, but I was on the way. So, what does it actually look like to be a super ager? Someone who is planning on living a long, healthy and happy life by putting in some great habits. So I've actually done a lot of reading and researching around the different things that you can actually do. Turns out they're not that hard. And I've kind of put them into 6 categories or pillars or whatever you want to call them. And during this series, I'm going to be going through and giving you tips that actually have to do with these categories. So the categories are feeding your body, keep moving, make connections, that's about social connections, have a positive attitude, work your brain, and sleep and rest. Now, the really important thing to remember is that each change you make in your life now will have an impact on how you age through the rest of your life. So that can either be a positive change or not such a great change. All right, so for the next little bit of the series, I'm going to be focusing on the first one, so feeding your body, so things around food. And there's lots and lots of information around this topic, and you hear a lot of it. I'm going to try and condense it down into some usable stuff, because the fact is that what we're putting into our body has a really massive impact on our overall health. So it's a really good place to actually start on becoming a super ager. Now, research has shown that eating a really healthy diet has an impact on many of the chronic diseases that are associated with old age. So that's what we're going to be looking at. So each week I'm going to give you one or possibly a couple of sort of associated changes that you can actually take on board that will actually help you to feed your body well. So they could be about what you need to eat, when you need to eat, and possibly where you need to eat. So a few different tips. So the top tip for this week is to actually begin to replace processed foods that are in your diet with more natural whole foods. And I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go through, but there's been lots and lots of research around something called the Mediterranean diet and showing how great that is. Now, when we talk about the Mediterranean diet, we don't mean a diet of pizza and pasta. This is actually about traditional Mediterranean ways of eating. And it's got a particular kind of focus, so it's like daily consumption of vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and healthy fats, weekly intake of fish, poultry, beans, and eggs, moderate portions of dairy products, and very limited intake of red meat is the general guidelines. So I'm going to break it down a little bit further. And for any of you who are watching who might be vegetarian or vegan, this diet is very easy to adapt to that way of eating as well. It doesn't take too much of an effort. All right, so let's start with the first tip that would be a great way to get started, and this is by increasing the amount of fresh vegetables and fruit that you bring into your eating each day. So my challenge is to try and increase by at least one serve the amount of fruit and the amount of vegetables you're eating. So one serve of fruit, one serve of vegetables, try and increase it by that. And you'll notice that there is a definite difference in how you start to feel after a little while. And it's actually not that hard to do, just to kind of bring that in. And the other thing is that you might consider is for each extra bit of fresh fruit or veg that you bring in, try and take out something that's processed. All right, so we're trying to get it to be more whole foods, less processed. All right, now if you are really wanting to get some extra help and support, I have put into the comments a link to the Facebook group, The Magic of Midlife. Now, this is where I'm going to be putting show notes, extra tips, resources, all kinds of things around that to do with this show, and also to do with another show that I have on Fridays, which is called Menopause is Not a Dirty Word. So obviously that one's aimed at women. This show is for anybody who wants to age well. So you're welcome to click the link and ask to join the group. That would be a great way to get some more ideas. All right, so next week, for next Monday, I'm going to continue along the lines of healthy things to do in terms of what you're feeding your body. So we'll kind of ramp it up a little bit, but remember this week, focus on bringing in more fresh fruit and more fresh vegetables into what you're actually eating, and your body will thank you for sure. All right, I hope you have a really great week, and I hope if you're in Adelaide, I hope you're enjoying the rain that we've had. I don't know if you can hear the birds outside my house that are just singing merrily. It's a great time when we've had a bit of rain, isn't it? All right, enjoy your week. Try out the tips, and I will catch you next week. Bye for now.